Hey, I'm back. Sorry, believe it or not, this is the next day before I actually recorded it the last time because I sort of accidentally fell asleep. Even after I had a quick thing of Harvey's, I sort of accidentally fell asleep. But anyway, whether it's normal or not, this student life isn't bad in its own way. I started to like this place enough to reach that conclusion. So I need to fix something again. Here. Go. Put you over there. Put this back. There we go. A hobby is a window that gives you a fresh perspective on the world. Or so my sister said. But when I was a kid, struggling through my daily life, what the hell? Okay, that glitched out for whatever reason. But when I was a kid, struggling through my daily life was about all I could handle. I disliked and avoided change, even when it might have brought me something new. So my sister's recommendation was to at least try reading books. That sister of mine was an unbelievable, curious bookworm herself, and she began to push the one she finished on me. I soon picked up a reading habit, although I didn't find any particular meaning in it at the time. My sister is dead now, as are my parents and my master, yet I'm still reading. The sister who taught me to read books, the parents who were angry at me when I was reading books, and the master who praised me for reading books, buying me as many as I wanted. I'm grateful to them since I found some meaning in the act of reading.
Kazami-kun.
Yeah. I turn around in response to Yumiko's greeting and find her carrying a sizable load of paperback and hardcover books. Sure, appreciate it, as always. As anyone with a long-term reading habit is well aware, books pile up before you know it. That I know. I have books literally everywhere. Some are a little childish, some are self-writing books, some are mangas, some are manuals, some are Sherlock Holmes stories. I read too much. As anyone with... That said, it's hard to just throw them away, and selling them to a used bookstore feels disrespectful to the author. The idea is to find another avid reader to dump them on. Incidentally, before I came, Sakaki had apparently been pushing the books she finished onto the library, but now she's established her own private shelf in there, full of pleasure reads. Most likely she spotted me by coincidence as she was carrying her books there and figured she could save herself the walk. Heavy, right? Here. I slid my hand under the books Sakaki is carrying. Watch it. Don't take your hands off yet. The books are going to fall. Of course it is. Don't worry, my hygienic standards are higher than you might expect. You complain too much, alright? I got a hold of them, you can let go. That's so. Anyway, I'll gratefully read the books when I finish one. I'll turn it to the Sakaki collection, so if you want to reread any of them, they'll be in the library. Yeah. I take a quick look at the titles of the books I'm holding. Soho Akai, The Decisive Pudding Battle? Kumobata Takiro, Yesterday's Black Cat. Hiro Atsuko, The Exit of the Desert. Okay, the first one got me a bit confused. The other two I can understand of them being booked, but the Decisive Pudding Battle? What type of book is the name is that, unless it's a cookbook? Oh wait, there's more. Oh god. Shino Takumi, Professor Kaidi Does Dinner. Ethan Crow, An Insolent Woman. Shino Nami Kazuma, You Blew It Omori. Although she reads quite a variety of genres and authors, it seems that Saki fundamentally likes food units. Of the 6 books she passed me, 4 are mysteries. Come to think of it, I could easily see Sakaki sitting at a detective desk, using her brains for her living. Flipping open one of the books, I speak toward the shadow of a nearby pillar. Makina, how long do you plan on hiding there? I'm not mad or anything, how about you come out? Your aura is too crude, I can sense you even when you're hiding. I just said that for the hell of it. You were casting a shadow on the floor, I could tell it was you from the height in that shaggy head. Pretty much. Why were you hiding in the first place? And does she have a bit of a snaggletooth? I can't really zoom in. You don't get along with Sakaki? On the other hand, I'm pretty sure Sakaki said something like, I think Irisu avoids me on purpose. You're in a state of mutual awareness. Well, I suppose that does happen sometimes. Sakaki, a guarded person who doesn't reveal her thoughts easily, and Makina, who feels most secure when she's burrowed her way into someone's heart. Their personal comfort zones may be incompatible. Well, it's foolish to expect everyone to get along with everyone else in the entire world. If that were the case, there would be no wars. There's no need to forcibly push these two together, but at the very least, maybe a mutual compromise is called for. I don't think Sakaki dislikes you, Makina, so try not to hate her yourself. I see. Would you really call our interactions friendly? Well, it's not like we're particularly close, but we have a common interest in books, so I guess that helped get things started. Of course, I get the idea that Sakaki mostly views me as a little more than a convenient book disposal. After all, it's hard to say you're friendly with someone who scowls so bluntly just because your hands touch. Makina, do you have any hobbies? Solo? That's not good. Okay, you're walking. What? Why? No, also no. At the company I work at, solitary hobbies are fundamentally discouraged. They place a lot of stress on keeping up some form of communication with others. I don't really keep communication with others because of other reasons. Mainly to keep them safe from me. When it comes to the interests of the employees, the basic are alcohol, women, and gambling, but it's a bit difficult to own up to that in front of the boss. Therefore, when asked, some of them just come up with a self-sounding conventional hobby like Shugo or Go? What the heck is Go? Someone in the comments write me that. When the superiors reacted favorably to those answers, the end result was that the hobbies column in the employee survey data recorded an overwhelming number of Zuko buffs. Although going with the flow is pretty much the defining Japanese characteristic, it's still something of a pathetic story. While having given them a nice safe hobby like reading myself, I can't really say too much. Nothing, just talking to myself. Incidentally, once you're the one giving the surveys out, in other words, an executive type, the hobby of choice would be gardening. Not something you can do when you're living out of the barracks. Yeah, it's better to have some interest than not, even if they're really worthless. For example, aforementioned employees in their wine, women, and song. Even then, if they can help you find a single common interest with someone, your hobbies are worthwhile as social lubricant, even if they're worthless in every other respect. This is something I heard secondhand from a senior employee at my job, but sometimes you get cases like this. This is a story about a man who took a business trip to Gufu Prefecture. It was a group expedition within the purpose of field testing new equipment that had just been deployed throughout his company. At the time, the man in question was a new employee, not even out of his training period. Nonetheless, he found himself taking a long, bumpy ride into the mountains on a company bus, accompanied by the chef of his special department. The man didn't have the first clue why he had been selected for the trip, let alone what he expected to do on it. To make matters worse, he was sitting next to a powerful superior he barely knew. In short, the man was about ready to vomit from sheer terror and anxiety. He fought desperately to keep calm, but his face was pale as a sheet. The bus finally reached its destination at the foot of Mount Kinka in Gufu, after many unpleasant hours. The man's relief was temporary as his boss informed him that they would be attending a large banquet in a high-class inn that night. Corporate banquets are basically a cool kind of talent show. New employees were expected to perform some skill for the amusement of the gathered VIPs. Newbies from each department mounted the stage one after the other. Quite a few croaked out popular karaoke ballads with stiff faces, but there were also some pretty combatant juggling acts. What the heck? Even one stand-up comedy duo, which got some laughs doing imitations of superiors. The man watched the others act with a fluttering heart. His turn was approaching fast, but it was basically a walking, breathing lump of artistic incompetence and a social type without a single talent worth performing in front of others. Just as he was wondering whether he could escape by pretending a sudden illness, the man was practically kicked out onto the stage by the senior employees. For lack of a better thought, he started to sing. The man didn't know any popular songs. Worse, he couldn't remember any of the standard folk songs or children's music that might have worked in a pinch. The man went instead with the theme song from a superhero TV show, Lightspeed General Demikorov, which he loved as a kid. At this point, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of despair. This was, of course, the man's first time singing in public and didn't have much of a voice. At moments, he was showered in cheers from the audience. You'll never see me singing in public. I have stage fright. I can never work on a stage. No. I'll be the guy working behind the scenes. I will not be the guy on the stage. The hell are you singing? What's with you? Hey, asshole, are you just making that up on the spot? That's enough. Get off the stage. You suck. Although he wasn't the type to break down in tears, the man felt a deep urge to dig himself a hole and crawl into it. Only sheer stubbornness carried him through the last humiliating note. When it was over, the man quickly bowed from the stage and raced back to his seat. On that walk back from the stage, the man had thought, I wish I had learned a popular song or two. Well, if you look at it that way, you're right, but the story isn't over yet. There's more. With the equipment test wrap-up, the man has returned to his new assignment at the branch office in Shizuoka. Someone called out to him as if he was dealing with the transfer paperwork. So you were the newbie who sang Demikorov at the banquet in Gufu. The man's breath caught in his throat. He figured out by now that the main job of his superiors was to flank their authority by picking at the smallest mistakes and then rubbing his nose in them. And the manager speaking to him was infamous for his zealous leadership of his underlings. Frankly, the man was about ready to piss his pants. He swallowed, chewed his lip, bitter thoughts running through his head. What's he going to blame on him? How long will I have to grovel? But the manager's word took him by surprise. I love that song when I was a kid. The man blinked, dumbfounded by this unexpected development. You're from Hiroshima, kid? According to the manager, Demikorov reruns were played relentlessly every weekday afternoon on the local station. In other words, practically every child in Hiroshima grew up watching the show. But the man wasn't a Hiroshima native. In the area he lived in as a child, the Children's Encore Theater program broadcasts old episodes of the show every summer. He just happened to see a few. Even so, the manager must have been really pleased to find a fellow Demikorov fan as he began to pull a few strings to the man's benefit. One night after work, the man returned to his bed in the company dorm to find that a white plastic bag had been tucked underneath the sheets on his neatly made bed. He didn't remember putting it there himself, and when he asked around, nobody else had any idea where it came from. The bag contained a huge jelly roll and a cup of instant ramen. As a new employee, the man had to eat dinner at the set time at 5 p.m. By 10 p.m., lights out time at the dorm. All of the trainees would be starving. A supplementary meal was therefore a very considerate present. The man had the idea who was responsible, most likely his Demikorov buddy at the top was the only one who could have pulled it off. On top of the early dinner time, learning the ropes as a trainee is particularly tiring. His Demikorov buddy had probably figured he have a hard time getting his young buddy to fall asleep on an empty stomach. Young body. Man actually didn't have a particular big appetite and wasn't the type to be troubled by irregular meals. But then Again, as a new employee, he didn't have much money he could spend freely on snacks and such. A little sugar was extremely welcome. If I get caught, they'll get punished too. So the man split the smuggled food with the other trainees in his room, and they'll all be devoured their shares greedily. As a present from his Demi-Kurov buddy at the time, they were known as the Demi-Kurov supply drop. Continue the talentless, quiet, and hobbyless triple threat contender where the social crown suddenly found himself. Getting along with the group in the dorm, all thanks to the Demi-Kurov connection. 3 months later, when the man's training period came to an end, it was once again his Demi-Kurov buddy whose recommendation got him assigned to the Chiba branch office he hoped for. In other words, when it comes to hobbies and interests, anything is fine. Finding friends you can talk about some common interests is a really valuable thing. Sometimes something that small can be the trigger for hanging a huge leg up in life. That's the moral of the story. For example, this YouTube channel. All this started off by a dare by my buddies. And then I ended up help from my buddy PewDiePie and the Rooster Teeth, which helped me get to this point. So I thank them with all my heart. I'm actually getting a bit of money, and thanks to your guys' support as well. So I should thank you for helping me with this channel. I'm really trying my best here. I'm still a rookie at best, but hey, I'm pulling through. So I should increase the mic a little bit. Never had a macaron. Never had one. Really wanted to try one though. Felix said they taste amazing, even though they look like mini burgers for some odd reason. I thought this was a pretty meaningful story. I guess it didn't quite get across. Well, more or less, when you're young, you should mess around with all sorts of things just to try to find something that grabs you, even if it's stupid crap. After all that spacing out, that's a pretty sharp question. Glance down toward the pile of borrowed books I'm holding in my hands. I suppose right now I don't have anything other than reading that qualifies. You aren't really listening to a word I say, are you? Well, not to say that you need it to. Go get almond to make something. No, far away from her, please. Yeah, if I'm in the mood. I see. I learned my lesson from this conversation. If there's a mention of food in the middle of a story, Machina won't remember another word. I'll have to be more careful next time. During my middle school days in America, I got a number of strange nicknames from my classmates. Mainly because none of them could be bothered to remember a Japanese name. On the predictable side, there was Jab and Shorty. My family name Kazami got approved to KZ as well. However, among my numerous nicknames, only one stuck out through the training was Gar, short for garbage eater. It's not that I had a reputation for dumpster diving, it was a reference to my tolerance for shitty food. As to how I earned it, the story is very simple. The KP made a slop unfit for pigs, and I ate it without even grimacing. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs, pork and beans made from scraps of ham, bread with peanut butter, and ridiculous stringy mystery meat with the staples. Where the staples. Every one of them had a weird chemical aftertaste, and they were all disgusting. Rumor had it that the secret sauce was gasoline. As for the chocolate cake we get for dessert, it was more commonly and accurately described as a dessert. That cake was legendary for being inedible. No matter how starved you were, you would end up stuck in your throat as a dry lump. But I ate it, and all the rest without complaining. Probably because I was living rough from a young age. I've never been that you call a picky eater. I also remember one of his nicknames in the anime, which will never pop up, so I'm allowed to say it. Genie. I don't know why. To put it simply, as long as my belly was full and my body was getting what it needed, the taste wasn't a concern. For me, it's a different thing. Even if it tastes good, it's all that my body would choose to reject it or not. I wouldn't even have a say in the matter. My body will literally choose reject, accept, without me even consenting to it. Which becomes a problem. So even those 3 torturous meals a day didn't inspire any serious complaints from me, but the people around me must have thought I was some sort of freak. After a while, my nicknames became Garbage Ear, then eventually just Gar. Hey Gar, just how shitty a cook was your mom? I had a set response to this one. My mom didn't cook much, so I was too busy screwing your dad's brains out. As far as my jokes go, I thought I was pretty witty, but that line didn't get that many laughs. Guess my delivery was a bit too stony. And not to mention, from what I could remember from the anime of the prequel show, while his family goes eat out at restaurants every day, pretty much almost every single time, they leave him home alone with moldy bread. Then the sister found out, then she starts hoarding food for him, saving food for him, because unlike the freaking mother who doesn't do anything until later when the sister dies, the father was abusive. Well then, what should I do for dinner? I didn't particularly feel a desire to eat, but if you don't take meals at 3 regular times a day, it throws off your body's clock and leaves you more susceptible to fatigue. In my case, it's something else entirely. So I need to go to the next part.